Namato Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello everyone. So good evening. Today is Thursday 21st of May 2020. And as usual, I am here with you to befriend and also share some of the thoughts and answering some of the questions that I was asked. So this is another beautiful day with the 14-degree and heat is really wonderful and wonderful to be outside, and much of the time we spent outside today and yesterday. And today we have also started a little bit more work in the barn, so there will be more work over the weeks. Now unfortunately we still can't buy some materials due to the companies are not delivering, and we have to find hiring a van so we can get all the materials from B&Q or other companies. So, and after that we will be able to work more steady. And this is the progress in our center at the moment, that we all focusing on the barn, renovating the barn. So whoever would like to contribute towards it, you're most welcome to be part of this renovation, and this will be used as temporarily a meditation, or in order to run other classes, so we can have at least a soundly social distancing. So that's why we try to have it as soon as possible. Hi Manish, hi Sarala, hi everyone. So this is that's going on at the center at the moment. So everyone is busy renovating the barn, focusing on the barn. And Carl, one of the boys who is living with us, has also created a beautiful chair. He named it Rotting Throne. So that's a throne made of all the rotting woods that I have collected from all around here, hoping to make it as a firewood for the winter. But he changed his mind and he thought he would like to make it, and so I permitted him to build that rotting throne, and now it's almost completed. So maybe you can come and be the king on the rotting throne made of the rotting woods. So beautiful, the beautiful art. Art is art, different arts, so different ways. So this is rotting throne. When we talk about the thrones in the history, always been a battle and always been so much conspiracy theories and so much bloodsheds all around all the time, regardless of when, how, where. So all the thrones are bathed by the bloods of someone or many, and sometimes even their own family members. So that's the throne. And I think I heard there was a so-called movie or series called Game of Thrones. So you cannot trust anyone. Always there someone to kill you to get that throne. So always like that. So we have this rotting throne. So you don't have to fight, you don't have to kill anyone to sit there. You can come and sit and relax and have a cup of tea, enjoy the view. Okay? So you're most welcome to sit on that throne the rotting throne. Right, so I was just reflecting on a few things today, and some of the things that I come across was in a practice of the spiritual life, or even in a meditation. Oftentimes we spend only a few moments or having a very lack of faith, and with that we normally do not continue our practice, and with that discontinued practice, basically we won't be receiving or getting the benefit from that at all. And in this lack of effort to continue practice, there are certain principles, and that's one of them is a lack of faith and confidence in a teacher. And this lack of faith and confidence in a teacher is one of the, I think, a very important factors that connects and that holds a student and also a learner. So the learner or a student is always dedicated to study and to learn from the teacher, and also diligently practicing in accordance with the teacher's guidance. But if a teacher or if a student hasn't got the confidence or the faith in the teacher, then doesn't matter how good the teacher is, and doesn't matter how dedicated teacher is teaching, and it won't give you a fruit. And it reminds me a story that there was a guy who wanted to find a real teacher, and he went to speak with his one of the ascetics who was sitting under the tree in that village, and went to speak and said, "I am going to find the real teacher and will come back." And this village teacher told him, "Very well," and off he went to search for the real teacher. And he spent about 10-15 years searching, practicing in different places, and finally he came back to the village where he was born. And in that same village, the ascetic or the monk was still under that tree, meditating and teaching and helping the villagers. And this man comes back after this 15 years of wandering around in different places, different cities, trying to find the real teacher. Comes back and said, "I do not see a real teacher out there. I wonder why." And this teacher again said, "Very well." So, and this is what we need to understand. Sometimes we are very close to the teacher, and yet we have a less benefit, and taking a very less benefit, and not practicing in accordance with the teachings or the instructions that the teacher gave. And this is one of the obstacles that we have to overcome. And the teacher is teacher. There is a Chinese saying, if a bad person comes along with the good person, then these two are good teachers too. There is no good and bad teacher. Those are both are good teacher for us. And the explanation went on saying that if you see that the person is good, then follow his instructions and follow as he is. And if you realize that another person is bad, then do not follow him. So these two become the teachers. So the Chinese are very clever, and particularly this Chinese philosophy says, which is teaching us. Everything is teaching us, and it's up to us how we take it. And that's why we have to develop this faith and confidence in a teacher once we have someone. And I remember Ajahn Vijayan, he's a very senior monk and meditation master in his early age, and he said that he was searching for the real teacher and trying to practice properly. And one day he had an opportunity to meet one of the monks, and who was very junior than him, and yet his knowledge was so profound that every questions he was able to solve, every doubts that he had, this junior monk was able to answer him, unfolding all the doubts. And he said that as soon as he realized the knowledge of this junior monk, he gave up his seniority and paid respect humbly and followed all the instructions that he was going to give. And this is also in line in the teachings during the time of the Buddha as well, that one of the very learned monk, he had a lot of students, and then a lot of students were again enlightened, but he was not enlightened. So then the Buddha normally called him as the empty vessel, a monk of empty vessels. So later he realized that he only got knowledge from the teachings, but he never experienced for himself. So and then he went on trying to find and speak with his students, students to teach him how to practice and enlightened, but nobody taught him, saying that you are our teacher and you know a lot, we cannot teach you. And later he went on to meet with a novice monk who also was one time a student of him and went to speak with him and say, nobody is teaching to me, please teach me. And in that case, novice monk said, in that case you have to follow what I say. If you can follow, then I will teach. And his teacher said, yes, I will. Then this novice said, okay, in that case, go to the river and have a bath for 3 times. So he, without hesitant, because he has the faith and wanted to learn from this novice who used to be his student, so he immediately jumped into the water. And after that, novice realized that now he is ready, so he has given up all his knowledge, all his ego, or all his status, but simply humbly become a student of his own ex-student. So that's how he then able to be liberated later on. So that's why the first factor that we have to develop in the development of our spiritual practice is to have faith and confidence in the teacher. And the second confidence we have to have is the teachings and the methods that we are practicing. And at first we may not be able to comprehend whether the teachings or the method is right or wrong, but in order to understand that, we have to investigate at least for some times, and only then we realize that this is not right, and I should change to another one. Like the Buddha, he was, as I said yesterday during the meditation, that even the Buddha, he went on practicing with different masters, and he was skilled in those methods and realized that those are not conducive for the liberation, and he left. But we are very lucky enough that Buddha had investigated, and he had already purified the teachings. So we have no doubt on that once we are faithfully practicing in accordance with it, then definitely it brings us the fruit, it brings us the benefit, which is no doubt at all, because Buddha had already tested, experimented, and and he also given us these methods, and which methods are very beneficial for our development, and which is no doubt. So that's why this also needs to have faith and confidence in it too. And then further on, we have to have a faith and confidence in the community that we are in, and particularly once we have realized that the community which is practicing in order to develop their mental cultivation, and also the community that they are more into the Dhamma practices and avoiding all the unwholesome activities, and try to maintain in line with at least of 5 precepts and the cultivation of the mind and development of the wisdom, then we should develop our faith and confidence and stay connected with it. And then if there is any other so-called the wrong views, and then against with so-called the generosity, against with the moral practice, and against with the humanity, and creating conflicts and those things, whoever whichever community creates these conflicts and divisions and differences, then we should be living those community, but in contact, or stay contact with the community that promotes the humanity, promotes the boundaryless kindness and compassion to one another, and sees all the humanity as a one, and not like differences between one or another, and practicing in accordance with the Dhamma for the spiritual growth and liberation. Then we should be in connection with it, and try to be with it at all the time. And that's another reason why whenever we are chanting, or whenever we transfer the merits, and we have a saying, we have a chanting saying that whenever whichever next existence I may reborn, I have an upright mind and able to be with the Dhamma friends. So this is a resolution that we try to make every day, every moment. So then it's become aspiration that because of that our mind become conditioned, and we will be able hopefully to come back, or if not liberated, then coming back to the community where the real Dhamma is being practiced. So that is also we need to develop on that too. And the further instruction or function, a factor for the development of our spiritual practice is that we have to develop our own faith and confidence within ourselves that this is the capability of each and individual's effort, that we can develop that. And with this, if we have developed in these factors properly, and then we dedicate so-called self-effort, putting a lot of effort to practice, study properly and practice properly, and investigating properly with wisdom, then there is a sure that we will get the benefit without a doubt. But what we needed is in the practice of spirituality is that we shouldn't be more attached to we shouldn't be having any so-called cravings for the sensual pleasures, and clinging on to this the 5 senses, and these are again obstacles, because when we are craving a lot, so-called tanha always the combination of ignorance, and because of that ignorance we crave so much, and with that craving what happens is we become greedy, and we will not consider of anybody else apart from the accumulation of wealth and accumulation of ego for ourselves. And sometimes we also illustrate our knowledge, our practice as better than someone else. I am wiser than someone else, in that like that. So this sort of a craving also we need to eliminate or abandon or cut from our hearts and minds. And this reminds me a story, not a story, it's still famous even nowadays. There are two groups of monks. One group of monks will say that meditation is good, and meditation monks are better than those who are studying the scriptures. And also in the scripture reading or the studying rather than practicing meditation, they also would say that only practicing you cannot preserve the teachings of the Buddha. You have to study properly, and then you can preserve the real teachings of the Buddha. So in this way, two groups are arguing one another. So in this way, what happens is, if we take a Buddha's words, they are not practicing properly for the good and happiness of both humans and the celestial beings. Buddha's instruction was that if you are a meditation teacher or meditation practitioner, you should be praising those who are studying the scriptures, that they are able to comprehend the teachings, and even though it's so hard, and able to transmit to other people, other monks. And so similarly, those who are studying the scripture and only studying, not practicing meditation, then again they should be also praising those who are meditators, saying that we although have knowledge, but we haven't got much time to practice, and yet they are practicing so well, and they will also be able to liberate themselves. So in that way, Buddha was saying that if a monk will have this kind of a mindset, then that will be beneficial for the humans and celestial beings. So that will be good and benefit for the all, in the beginning, middle and the end. So like that. And this is again, we are craving for is we need to eradicate or abandon, and is clinging onto it. So this is also need to abandon, and more so again, I think what we have to also develop is that the laziness into the practice. Sometimes we are very energetic and we want to meditate for 1 hour probably a day. Other time we just become lazy and we don't want to even sit, excusing that I am very tired, I have so many things to do, I cannot spare my time for the practice, so and so. And this is also not a good way of having a mindset. Once we have decided or motivated, then we have to develop the confidence that I am going to do, or simply get reading off this laziness and sleepiness mindset, and dedicating every day for the cultivation of the mind. And this also needs to be consider in order to cultivate ourselves too. And one more thing, I think sometimes we also very attached to the sensual pleasures, and this is also one of the obstacles that again takes us not to practice. So we like to entertain, and that's famously I normally use the simile that when there is a party, we tend to join, regardless of how busy we are, we can make a time for that party. But whenever comes to the practice of a meditation or doing good things, we always have a good excuse not to attend. And so this sort of a mindset we have to abandon from our mind. So that's why we always need to check our intention. how much intention do we have for the cultivation of our mind and the cultivation of good things. And not just the intention, but also we have to have the right effort. The right effort again balance with the balance effort. So it's not too loose and not too high. It's in a balance and a continue. Although you're doing very little, but continuation of doing it is the right effort. And not just the right effort, again, we need to be very mindful of our motivation, intention, our right effort as well. So being mindful of what you are doing in our day-to-day life. And even just the mindful is not enough. If we take Buddha's instruction properly, then we should have so-called yoni-so manasikara. Yoni-so manasikara, which means the skillful investigation, or skillful awareness. And here again, simply to develop our wisdom and ability to control and ability to eradicate and abandon things that is not beneficial for the cultivation of the mind. Okay, so these are some of the factors and some of the factors that we should be considering in relation to the practice of the cultivation of the mind and for the spiritual development, and something that we need to abandon and something we need to develop. So I hope this is for the tonight, and thank you everyone for following and listening the talks, and I hope it is giving you a lot of information and as well as guidance to live with and cultivation of the mind for the spiritual growth and happiness in this life here and now, and also for the next life. So may you be happy, peaceful, successful, may you have a good health and both mind and a body, and may the Buddha bless you. So thank you very much for listening, and in a few minutes time we will have evening chanting, and also after that there will be a guided meditation, so you are most welcome to join with us. And most importantly, I would encourage you to practice meditation, and you can post your experiences and also questions, so then we can see how much we've been practicing and developing in it. Until then, if you're not following tonight, then see you tomorrow. If you're following, then see you shortly. Thank you.